The last general format of a problem you'll see is one where you're given two sides to begin with, in this case 22 centimeters and 15 centimeters, and you're asked to find an angle. Sometimes this will be in a word problem, you have to set it up in this way. But this is different from the other problems we've looked at where you've had an angle and you've had a side and you found another side. Here we've got two sides, one of them 22, one of them 15, and we need to find an angle. Process is almost exactly the same. So our angle is x. I've already written out SOHCAHTOA here, so we're going to look opposite x is that 15 centimeters. Adjacent x is the side next to x. We won't label the 22 adjacent because we know that's the hypotenuse because it is across from the right angle. So let's figure out which trig function we're going to use. We have 22 centimeters, that's the hypotenuse. I'm going to highlight the two hypotenuses. And we have an opposite side. We're probably not going to use the adjacent side because there's no value there. It just doesn't help us. So we'll use opposite, which means we're going to use sine because it has both opposite and hypotenuse. So let's set up our ratio. We'll do sine of the angle x is equal to the opposite side 15 over the hypotenuse 22. This situation is really scary for a lot of students because we have a sine x here, but the x isn't really something we can actually put into our calculator. Like if you try putting in sine of x, your calculator will probably just say undefined or something else. So you can't do it. Instead, what you need to know how to do is actually really simple. As long as you know how to do it, you'll say x, the angle that we're trying to find, because it was next to the sine, is equal to sine inverse, which has that little -1 above it, of 15 over 22, which were just the numbers that were on the other side. You're going to plug that into your calculator. Again, to get sine inverse, all you have to do is hit second, and then hit the sine button like you normally would, and it comes up with the sine inverse, and you're going to put in sine inverse of 15 divided by 22, close your parentheses, and your calculator will give you an angle. I get 42.985. Some more repeating numbers there. We'll just round that to the nearest hundredth. So that's 42.99 degrees is what we get, which means that this angle up here is 42.99 degrees, and we found it. So really keep it straight in your head what the angles are and what the sides are. The angles will be paired with either sine, cosine, or tangent in that equation, and on the other side of that equation will be some ratio of two sides of the triangle. Whether or not we know both of the sides depends on the type of problem, but you should be able to solve all three types of trig problems if you've seen this video at this point. So good job.